have an auto sales lot on the corner of Highway 395 and Main Street at the light. For more information, you can visit the Auto Service Center at 806 East Main in Chewelah. Find them online at godfearingbrothers.com or by phone at 509-935-6414. KCHW-FM thanks God-Fearing Brothers for supporting public radio in Stevens County.
And by Chewelah Flooring.
Chewelah Flooring at 214 East Clay in the 3rd Street Mall offers a wide variety of products, including carpet, ceramic and porcelain tile, vinyl and laminate planks, and vinyl sheet flooring. Chewelah Flooring carries products for both commercial businesses and residential homes, including brands like National Flooring, Del Tile, Mannington, and Mohawk. They also offer blind repair. For more information, you can visit online at CheWelahFlooring.com, call 509-935-8021, or via email at CheWelahFlooring@gmail.com.
This is KCHW 102.7.
Well, if you learned anything today, it won't be the truth.
That is true. That's the truth, though. So there's that. Good morning. It's the KCHW Morning Show. It is Thursday, March 14th. It's the middle of the month already. We're here with Scott Allen and myself, Chuck Ritchie. Good morning, Scott.
Yay! Applause for us for getting up.
All the applause for us. I even got up early this morning.
You did. I'm amazed. Look at you go. And you're all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. And I logged in and he just started going. Brrr.
Yeah, I do that. You know, I got up like 45 minutes before my alarm and thought, oh, it's not time to go. It's not time to get up yet. I'll go ahead and go back to sleep. And I went to sleep. You ever have those times when you have like a million dreams? It seems like you've been asleep for hours and you wake up. Oh, no, I slept through my alarm. Yeah. 10 minutes before the alarm went off. Yeah.
I think it was last week, right after the show, I decided, I'm sleepy, I'm retired, I'm laying back down. And when I woke up, I slept so long, because I'm 3 hours ahead here, I slept so long, it was like right before the time change, so it was dusk.
Oh, wow.
And when I woke up, it had the same kind of hue it does when I wake up in the morning. And Chuck, I think it was a Thursday, I literally woke up in panic thinking that I missed the morning show. I was like, no, we did it. That happens when you get old. Where am I?
I slept until 1 p.m. on Sunday.
Look at you.
I just didn't even, without even waking up, without snoozing, I just didn't even wake up until 1 o'clock. It was a late night.
Have you started the old man thing where you have a problem sleeping and you're like, yeah, 5 hours will do?
Pretty much. If I see that alarm and it tells me how much time until my alarm goes off, if it's over 5, I'm like, that's good. That's a good night's sleep right there.
Yeah, 5 hours. Whoop, whoop. Oh, man, that's rough. All right, let's start off this morning. Take a look at your forecast, which the forecast, I had to get a sound effect ready for it.
Yeah.
So today, 54, plenty of sunshine, okay, light winds. Tonight, a few passing clouds, otherwise generally clear down to 33. Tomorrow, 60, all right, mostly sunny for your Friday. 35 for an overnight low, 60 and 35, that's crazy. Saturday, 66 and 38, mostly sunny skies. Full sunshine on Sunday with a high of 68.
Hot. 68 degrees.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
That is.
67 on Monday, 66 on Tuesday. And then you go into some partly cloudy skies, a little rain, drop you back down to 46 by the 22nd. And you're going to hang out back in the 40s and 50s where you probably should be.
Right. But, you know, we're getting in that weather where, you get up in the morning, you go to work, you have your coat on and everything. And by the time you get off work, it's nice and sunny out and you forget and you leave your coat at work. And then you get out in the car in the morning and it's covered in ice and you're freezing. That happened to me this morning.
So just be glad you're not getting this. I'm going to switch my camera feed so anybody watching online can see it. Look at the size of that hail that fell in Kansas.
Wow.
I mean, that's
huge.
What would you call that? Crab apple size? It's bigger than a golf ball.
Yeah, it's bigger than a golf ball for sure. It's kind of pretty in a way. It almost looks like those pork buns, that you get at Chinese places.
It does. It looks like globs of fat. Can I eat that? And I was thinking, it's snow. Maybe you could eat it, but then you can see the dirt in it. And, yeah. And maybe it was just his hands, because look, his hands are dirty too.
Well, we didn't have anything like that, but we had a couple of really wicked hailstorms on Tuesday. It was pretty wild in here in the building. It was like thunder pouring down. It was so loud. You couldn't hear it. You couldn't even hear yourself think in here.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I had an old tracker, not the one of, the blue one for years. Before that, I had a red one where the top came off. Nice day. I'm living at Loon Lake and decided going to go to grab my daughter and decide we're going to go to Deer Park, and I popped the top off. We're coming back from Deer Park, and it's that typical spring in the Northwest, where the weather changes radically, and it started hailing. And then it started hailing so bad, and I got the top off, that I had to pull over and stuff my daughter up under the jockey box so she wasn't getting hit.
Wow.
And then I just kind of took it in the back, and I'm trying to decide, do we need to get out of the car and get under it, how bad it's going to be? And about that time it subsided. But kind of scary. And I decided if there's clouds in the sky, I'm never taking the top off again. Such a bad idea.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't hear the news this morning. You kind of caught me off guard. Did we run news?
You know what? I don't think we did. Where'd it go?
No,
we didn't.
I don't think we did. I was also confused Tuesday, since you took over for LaVon, Voice in the News. Usually she saved me one that said morning news, and I didn't have one on Tuesday, so we didn't run any news on Tuesday either.
Oh yeah, it's because I didn't realize she was recording it over in three different places.
Yes,
and
yes.
I saved
so
it. And
everybody had there was a version for mornings and afternoons and evenings. So
I know now to save that in all three of those places.
All right. All right, moving along this morning, I think we got the weather covered. We got to see some awesome hail. And let's go ahead and roll out a few news stories, if you're cool with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So the eclipse is coming up, I believe. Isn't it April 12th? I've got a story in front of me, but typical writing here. Oh, yeah, April 8th from 12:22 to 3:01 Central Time. Now, that isn't the total run of it, but that's the area it looks like that it's going to come across us here in Maine. Lucky for Scott, we are in the path of totality.
You are?
Yes.
You are lucky.
The county just released a thing. It said every hotel room in the county has been booked.
Wow.
Most B&Bs, and this is I'm going to say probably just as or more remote than Stevens County. And they said we are expecting 50,000 people.
Holy cow. I'm assuming your spaces are booked up.
I do not have mine, or it's still cold weather. And I'm going on vacation, so I am not opening mine. And I've already had people asking, are you going to open up your cabins? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to be gone. So I wasn't planning till mid-April, May to open. So I'll miss out on that. But I only have a couple cabins. It's not like, making a ton of money or anything like that. It's really what I've told people is the family created themselves a part-time job that doesn't pay well, but it's fun. And it's fun to meet all the campers. A lot of foreigners coming through because we have the highest point in Maine is called Mount Katahdin, and there's a big national park there called Baxter State Park. And that's where most people coming into this area are headed. And that is exactly the path of totality. It is going right across the top of Mount Katahdin. So people are going to be flooding the park.
That is amazing.
Hope we have clear skies. One of the towns called Millinocket, which is in the path too, has really done it up. They got like 5 bands coming in. They're turning it into a festival, and it's early spring in Maine, which is usually lots of rain. So whether we'll even have a clear sky, is going to be up in the air. But apparently, everybody's booked motel rooms.
That is very cool. My stepson, the last big one in 2017, he was in a band in Portland, Oregon. In the path of totality, and they recorded a music video playing in an open field under the eclipse. Before the eclipse, through the whole thing, it came out absolutely perfect. It's like a 15-minute song, but yeah, they did the whole song as it went black behind them, and then the sun came back up as they sort of crescendoed towards the end of the song. It was really neat.
I want to know why they call it the path of totality.
That sounds ominous, doesn't it? No, we're in the path of totality. Run.
Yes, it's because the sun makes a giant magnifying glass when it does this, and it sets you on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someday you never know.
A little more on that. So the name of that town here in Maine where everybody's coming is Millinocket. The other thing that's happening across the country, they've talked about in the past, the last time we had the total solar eclipse 2017, animals went crazy. And a few of the zoos around the country took notes on what the animals did. Oh. And they are asking people across the country to do the same thing. It's a story on CNN today. It said zoo animals acting strangely took researchers by surprise. Giraffes gathered and broke into gallops, which they don't do usually unless they're being chased by a lion or something. Galapagos tortoises began to mate, and gorillas got ready for bed. So these odd behaviors were just a few of the several anomalies that scientists stationed at the Riverbank Zoo and Garden in Columbia, South Carolina, observed during the historic solar event spanning the United States that was according to a March 2020 report. They said giraffes are kind of delicate, don't run a lot. When they run, it's because they're running from a predator or something like that. But they're asking people across the country to take notes and share what the animals do during the solar eclipse. So I don't know how that's valuable, but okay.
So my dogs might get really annoying and hyper and easily agitated. How is that different than normal?
It says regular folks won't be just watching at a zoo. The Citizen Project is what they're calling this, and it calls for observations from all sorts of environments, including cities with pigeons and squirrels, mountain ecosystems with woodland critters, farms with livestock, and more. So there could be all sorts of things. We're hoping that we even get kids watching their dogs in the backyard, seeing if their dogs behave interestingly during the eclipse. That's kind of fun. Fun stuff.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I have to keep my dogs out of the backyard for that big 2-foot owl that lives in the tree back there.
Oh. Hey, real quick, I forgot to talk about what the kids are eating for breakfast. It's a burrito, cereal, fresh fruit, juice, and your choice of milk. So breakfast burrito this morning. And then for lunch, you got the corn dog, baked beans, romaine salad, fresh veggies, fresh fruit, milk choice. Sorry about that. I'm getting old, but the memory did kind of save me there.
You got it eventually. That's all that matters, really.
Got it eventually. All right. Chuck Norris, a couple days ago, turned 84. All right. Went online, shot a video of himself. He says, I feel like I'm 48. What do you think he's doing in the video?
He's doing karate or exercise or being BA.
You know how hard I can punch?
And that's exactly what he's doing in the video. He is just slamming away on punch and bag. Do you know what he looks like now? It's been a while since he's been in the public. Let's see if we can.
I don't know what he looks like.
I can throw up a picture for our online viewers that are watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or our website. There's Chuck Norris at 84, and there he is punching his punching bag.
Did he get older? Did the world just get a year younger around him?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. He's a man. If I could look a tenth that good at 84 years old, wow, I would be happy. You know,
if I'm here at 84, I'll be happy.
If I can even walk at 84, I will be ecstatic.
Yeah. So next year's my scary year is because men in my family pass away young. Of course, I don't drink like most of them did. But my brother passed away at 58, and I turned 58 this year, so I'm kind of concerned about that. And just trying to be, that was kind of like my New Year's thing is just trying to be healthier. And just this week, I have dropped 4 pounds.
Wow.
The problem is, Chuck, it's all in my head.
Did you get a haircut?
Yeah. If I got a haircut, I could lose 6 pounds.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I think I found it. I think I found your 4 pounds, Scott.
All right. All right. So can I do some political stories?
Sure, go for it. There's been some stuff happening.
Yeah. Are you kind of over the whole Katie Britt thing? I know that a whole broadcast she did really upset you.
Wow, that was a horror story. It was unreal. Like what were we watching?
It was one of the creepiest things I think I've ever seen, and totally pandered to, I don't know how to say it without sounding rude, but the lowest common denominator of society.
I don't even know who that panders
The easiest
to.
person that you could probably sway is who that was aimed at. It was disgusting. Is what I felt about it.
That pandered to people that watch the horror movies and root for the bad guy.
The first story out today was how a poll from Yahoo and another organization came out, and it said the number one feeling of Americans regarding the 2024 election is dread.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. And I think everybody's feeling it. A group of mental health experts have come together kind of in a way to I don't want to say defend Biden, but show the differences between somebody who's aging and somebody who probably has severe dementia and some mental problems because of the lying. And they said, based on mountains of public evidence, and this is the group, they've posted, the guy that started the group has also wrote a book, but they've got a petition being signed by mental health providers across the country. And it says, based on mountains of public evidence of Trump's behavior and what he has encouraged in others, these mental health experts conclude that the corrupt, twice impeached ex-president, sexual assaulter, as confirmed by a court of law, aspiring dictator, and defendant who is now facing hundreds of years in prison, appears to be a sociopath, if not a full-on psychopath. And I challenge anyone to go look up sociopath. There's 10 categories that make up a sociopath. And I did this once when I was being, harassed for being on the radio. And you could take all 10 things and he qualifies, in my view only. All right. And then they went on to be a little harsher and say, if not a full-on sociopath, And following through on their ethical obligations, the duty to warn the public about a uniquely powerful and dangerous person, such as Donald Trump, these mental health professionals risk their careers, reputations, and even their personal safety. If members of Congress, then President Trump's cabinet officials, senior law enforcement, and others with the power to contain the dangerous ex-president had listened to them and acted accordingly, the country would not be on the precipice of Trump's return to power, where he will, as threatened and promised, become America's first dictator. As seen in the first few weeks and months, Trump's dangerousness is rapidly escalating. At his rallies and other events, Donald Trump is exhibiting obvious and repeated examples of challenges in his speech, language, and memory. Have you seen the clips that of course, it's kind of cruel, the Democratic Party put out and pieced together of him just blabbering and making no sense?
You mean pretty much anything he's ever said in public in the last 10 years?
Well, that's true. That's the way I feel about it, but others might not. But
yeah.
In a widely read series of conversations, Dr. John Gartner, who is the prominent psychologist and contributor to the best-selling book, The Dangerous Case of Donald Trump, 27 psychiatrists and mental health experts assess a president. That's the name of the book. It's very long. Has been warning that Trump is apparently suffering from dementia or some other type of brain disease. He summarized it as this: not enough people are sounding the alarm that based on this behavior, and in my opinion, Donald Trump is dangerously demented. In fact, we're seeing the opposite among too many in the news media, the political leaders, and among the public. There's also this focus on Biden's gaffes or other things that are well within the normal limits of aging. By comparison, Trump appears to be showing gross signs of dementia. This is the tale of two brains. Biden's brain is aging. Trump's is dementing. One of Gardner's colleagues, Dr. Harry Siegel, who is a senior lecturer at Cornell University and Weill Cornell Medical School, has gone so far as to say that Trump should withdraw from the 2024 election and seek immediate medical help. They add, in an attempt to raise public awareness, we diagnosed Trump with probable dementia, a petition for licensed professionals only. So nobody can sign this but a doctor.
Yeah,
right.
I'm sure they'll probably get a lot of signatures for people to ignore.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
That's my guy. I don't care.
Uh-huh. All right.
Wow.
Then on to the RNC. This is crazy. The purge that has happened in the past few days.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? 20% have been fired and replaced by
Sycophants?
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
The RNC has a new election integrity post, and that person, Christina Bobb, spouted election falsehoods and how the election was stolen. That's their integrity post.
Wow. Well, you know, and I've said it before. I don't have a problem with conservatives. You know, I people accuse me of that sometimes, but I really don't. I mean, I've been a conservative myself for a good portion of my life. Why this guy? This particular guy, like the world's biggest narcissist, why would you want someone who's all about him? He doesn't care about the country. He doesn't talk about the country. He talks about Donald Trump.
If you support that kind, yeah,
I don't understand it. I don't get it.
If you support that kind of behavior, and your kid comes home crying from school that he was bullied, you have no right to do anything about it.
Right.
You don't, because
Right.
you're supporting the biggest bully I've ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bizarre.
Wow. And I'm going to, this part of it, and I guess we're contributing to it right now. Part of it's the media's fault.
Right.
When he lost the election, we should have just stopped giving him airtime. It's our fault. We fed the beast.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, definitely.
All right. Moving on to the next one. I'm going to pick on independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Okay. Some more scary stuff there. More ridiculous conspiracy theories. A potential vice president that he's talking about, Aaron Rodgers, New York Jets quarterback. Many people might not know. Aaron Rodgers has shared in conversations with media people deranged conspiracy theories about the 2012 Sandy Hook school shooting not being real. Let's see. Pamela Brown, a journalist for CNN, said Brown was covering the Kentucky Derby for CNN in 2013 when she was introduced to Rodgers, then the Green Bay Packers. With the Green Bay Packers at a post-Derby party. Hearing that she was a journalist with CNN, Rodgers immediately began attacking the news media for covering up important stories. Rodgers brought up the tragic killing of 20 children and 6 adults by a gunman at Sandy Hook Elementary School, claiming it was actually a government inside job and the media was intentionally ignoring it. We don't need more crazy.
No.
Yeah. He didn't get sued along with Alex Jones because he didn't really broadcast it publicly. But that's horrible. Horrible.
That truly is. I mean, to do that to the families of those kids, I've seen that happen a lot, and it's gross. It's really gross.
All right. I'm going to move on to I Can't Believe This. This one straight out of a science fiction horror story, Chuck. This is amazing. 80-year-old Montana man pleaded guilty Tuesday to 2 felony wildlife crimes involving his plan to let paying customers hunt sheep on his private ranches. Doesn't sound too bad, does it? I mean, or too out of the normal.
Right.
But they weren't just any old sheep. He'd been cloning sheep.
What? Just on his own?
Yeah. 80 years old. I mean, a guy can clone. That's amazing. They were massive hybrid sheep created illegally by importing animal parts from Central Asia, cloning the sheep, and then breeding an enormous hybrid species. All right. We're gonna go back to the webcam, and I'm gonna show you a picture of this. These guys, this is the biggest sheep you have ever seen. Look at the horns.
Wow.
That's what he was cloning. And he was cloning so people could come to a ranch and hunt these massive sheep and then get the horns, of course, because look at how magnificent they are.
I'm equally horrified and really impressed by that.
I know.
Like, wow.
It's right out of a sci-fi movie. Let's see. Arthur Jack Schubarth, 80, owns and operates a 215-acre alternative livestock ranch in Vaughan, Montana, where he started his operation. Alternative livestock includes hybrids of mountain sheep, mountain goats, and other large mammals, which are often used for trophy hunting by wealthy people. Unnamed accomplice kicked off a decade-long scheme by illegally bringing in biological tissue from Marco Polo sheep, the largest sheep sheep in the world from Kazakhstan into the U.S. in 2013. How big are the sheep? Average male weighs over 300 pounds with horns over 5 feet wide, giving them the largest sheep horns on the planet. Sheep are endangered and protected by both international treaties and U.S. law. Also, Montana forbids the import of these foreign sheep or their parts in an effort to protect local American sheep from disease. He sent them to an unnamed lab, which created 165 cloned embryos, according to the Department of Justice.
Oh, so he didn't create them in his farm. He just
I guess
raised the
not.
clones. Okay, I would have been impressed if dude would have had like a science lab in the back of his barn, you know?
Yeah. All right. Next one. I can't believe that either. Did you hear about the mom who has made millions and millions of dollars running a counterfeit, I guess, stolen items ring out of her mansion? She was caught selling stolen items. I guess she's got this huge Amazon marketplace and had a whole network of people traveling across the country and into Washington state, buying things from stealing things from high-end stores and then bringing them back to her where she sold them on Amazon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey,
Mom with the kids.
Hey, Scott, really quick. I just realized we had a problem I didn't catch, and we are just now starting to stream on Facebook Live. So,
oh wow, welcome! I'm so glad we're here. You missed all the pictures. I'm so sorry.
So, any of you joining us now, we weren't streaming for about the first half hour of the show. So, apologies everyone for that, but we are live now. So there you go.
You forgot to press the go live button, didn't you?
I forgot to press the go live button.
Oh no! We suck again!
But the full show is available on our YouTube page, so there's that.
Oh, you got the other one's going. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. If you really want to go back and see some cool pictures, Chuck Norris punching.
Yeah.
Another one in the set of three things I can't believe. The next one, 2 men charged with blowing up a woman's home and planning to use a large python to eat her daughter. Who does that?
I saw that.
That's crazy.
How big of a snake do you need?
Planning have been charged after allegedly bombing a woman's home and planning to release a large python into victims' homes to eat the victim's kid. Stephen Glosser and Caleb Kinsey, 37 and 34, both from Richmond Hill, Georgia, alleged to have used electronic communications to place the unnamed woman under surveillance with the intent to kill, injure, harass, and intimidate before using an explosive device to blow up her house. Conspiracy charge describes using cell phones to create a plan to kill, intimidate, and harass. I don't want to repeat that, including shooting arrows into the victim's front door, acquiring and releasing a large python into the victim's home, mailing feces and dead rats to the victim's home, scalping, blowing up, and prosecutors allege that they announced the indictments. They released all that when they announced the indictments. Crazy. And it doesn't say, it goes through the whole story of why.
It does or doesn't?
It doesn't. Nowhere in the story. And it's like, this is really bad writing again.
You know, for stories like that, though, is there really a why?
She cut him off in traffic.
Wow.
All right. Science news today. They have uncovered a large volcano on Mars with possible glacier ice in it.
Wow.
Yeah, so
That's cool.
That's the next place they're going to send one of our robots. So just kind of cool.
Well, where there's water, there's life, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's kind of cool. It doesn't look like it's obviously if it's got water. It's not an active volcano anymore, but
Right.
They have a total now where they've found 4 volcanoes on Mars. So,
Haven't they found fossilized evidence of microbes and microscopic life buried in this?
they found things that are precursors for life,
Mhm.
which makes them assume that at some point, there's a lot of theories out there. I've seen documentaries where they show Mars, being green at one time and then losing most of its atmosphere and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think we're getting closer to finding out whether it's true or not, at least.
Yeah. I mean, the odds of our entire universe having one that close to us also being capable of life are, pretty slim. But yeah, something out there's got life.
It'd kind of show us something, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
or maybe make people open up their minds a little further, or hope a little more for a new planet once we've got this one all torn up the rest of the way.
Titan, I'm talking to you.
All right, let's move on to bits and breaks this morning. We got some topic questions if you want to play along on Facebook and give us your opinion. We love that. Let's see. First one. This is for you, Chuck. In fact, I'm going to ask you all these questions.
Okay.
What are you germophobic about? What's the big thing that creeps you out?
Shopping carts is a big one.
Yeah.
And that was before COVID. Any place that had those sanitizing wipes available, I would use it. I keep a can of Lysol within arm's reach most of the time.
Okay.
I don't know. I just I used to be a plumber back in the day, and I think washing my hands before I did anything just sort of became habit because, I don't think I need to explain that.
When I started doing that with shopping carts, having asthma and you catch a cold that goes in your chest and you're laid up for a couple weeks. So that kind of brought me into being a germaphobe. And I was that way before COVID. Had a real hard time when I worked at KXOY because there were so many people in the building. I was getting sick. Every 45 to 60 days, I would catch a cold.
Oh, yeah.
And once I started not touching a doorknob, which I never do.
Yeah.
And
I'll do the sleeve thing.
Yep. and I have a hook on my key ring.
Nice.
Washing the bar of the shopping cart, like you said, just those two things. I went on a 7-year run from being someone who was sick every 45 to 60 days. I have some friends that seem like they always catch colds too. Mm-hmm. Just doing those things, stopping touching doorknobs and shopping carts. I went on a 7-year run without catching a cold.
Wow. Although on the other side of that, the healthiest I've ever been in my life was when I was working a lot in catering and serving and dealing with plates and stuff for large rooms full of people, 300, 400, 500 people at events.
You caught it all.
Yeah, I never got sick though. My immune system was so strong, and I know that. Well, of course, again, you don't do anything until you wash your hands. There was it was 10, 15 times a shift in the kitchen, going into the kitchen, washing your hands. So,
one thing that sets me off, and those kind of germophobic things, is anyone blowing their nose in public. That is I find that so personally disgusting. Really, you couldn't take 30 seconds to walk into a bathroom and do that? I mean, if you're in a room and I'm close to you and you start blowing your nose, I'm either leaving or going to the other side of the room. I want to throw up my lunch.
I do when it's necessary, but I try to be as discreet as possible about it. I don't sit there and honk away in public, but
I mean, that was a thing from the olden days where people carried a hanky.
Oh God!
And then used it and stuffed it in their pocket.
Oh,
yeah. Pulled it and said, "Yeah, here, use my hanky."
My grandpa would do that, and I thought it was the most. And we'd be out fishing or something, and I'd have a runny nose, and he'd offer me his crusty, gross hanky that's been in his pocket for a week.
Yeah,
and I'm like, throw that thing away. That's disgusting.
It's one of those things. I think when you go to foreign countries, they say Americans are gross. That people probably do.
Yeah, the hanky thing. Ooh.
All right, let's move along to something a little bit funner. The next question I have for you this morning, Chuck, who is the coolest person alive? Say Scott.
It's you, Scott, of course.
Hail to the king, baby.
Who is the coolest person alive?
The coolest person alive. Some of my personal heroes that I consider cool are more nerdy than anything else. There's Misha Collins, I think, from again, he was Castiel from Supernatural, one of my biggest, my favorite celebrities. He's done a lot of good work for people. He started the Random Acts of Kindness Foundation.
Okay.
I don't know. I admire kindness in people, I think. And I don't know. The coolest person alive, that's kind of a hard question to ask or to answer.
It is.
It is.
I guess the person who's most impressed me recently that is alive, and people might kind of shake their heads a little bit. I saw an hour-long just like coffee interview where they're sitting and having coffee with John Cena.
Okay.
And I was so amazed with how philosophical he was. How for somebody who, basically pro wrestling is acting anyways.
Yeah.
But
It's cosplay.
the story of his life, the story of how he parents, it was, and like I said, his philosophy on life and stuff. I was just blown away by what a good person he appeared to be.
You see that a lot in professional wrestling. You see these guys.
I don't know. Why are wrestlers the nicest guy? You think they'd break you in half.
It's really easy to roll your eyes and be like, oh, that stuff is so dumb. It's over the top. But man, then you see these people talking and, there's exceptions to that. But men, they're usually so intelligent. And so, but they're theater geeks with muscle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like Dave Bautista. He's a great, they say in Hollywood, he's one of the nicest, hardest working people in Hollywood. And that's why he gets so many roles.
And then same thing with John Cena. He's everywhere since he started acting now. So
yeah.
All right.
It's a weird thing that it seems like it's just common within the sport. So,
all right. Now I'm looking for help. We're going to talk breakfast food, make people hungry. What is, do you got any secrets, anything you add to jazz up your scrambled eggs? And you can post this on Facebook too, and we'll share it. Any special thing you do to jazz up your eggs? They're asking for scrambled eggs. I don't care. Eggs of any kind.
Other than maybe some cheese, maybe peppers, ham, onions, the usual. I prefer mine just some eggs with some salt and pepper on them.
All right. Now scrambled, or do you do fried eggs? What do you do?
I like a nice runny fried egg.
No,
I'll put it on anything. What's that? Yeah. Or sometimes I'll even decide what we decide to have for dinner is based on how well this will heat up in the morning with a fried egg on top of it. Yeah.
My daughters always tell me, and in fact, if we're doing breakfast, they'll say, "Dad, will you make the eggs?" And they say I make the best scrambled eggs. And my secret is absolutely nothing but butter. The only thing I can come up with is why they taste so good is always use grass-fed butter. Period is my recommendation. And then, of course, I put some butter in the pan. I do the eggs, but the only thing I do different with them, I don't even put pepper in them, and they love them, is I slow cook them because I hate the skin on an egg.
Yeah.
So they can never have the skin. So grass-fed butter, slow cook them. When they're done, baste them in that grass-fed butter again. Okay, maybe grass-fed butter doesn't have really bad fats in it, so it's not hurting you. And that's the only thing I do. And so I don't get it why people always go, "Oh my God, your eggs are the best." The only thing I can think is I slow cook them with love.
Aww. I think the internet agrees with me too. There's this Gordon Ramsay, one of the world's clearly one of the world's greatest chefs. Have you ever seen him make scrambled eggs?
No.
They are a big, disgusting, snotty mess. Like they're just, like when you stir them, they go, they're absolutely disgusting. They're like snot. They're slimy and gross. And that is like the gourmet way to do your scrambled eggs. And I'm like, who would eat that? Yeah,
no kidding.
We did do a thing one time. We were in a hotel and they had these water eggs. Basically, they're kind of like a poached version of a scrambled egg, where you get your water, you bring it up to a boil, you turn the stove off, and you swirl your water, and you put these scrambled eggs in there really slowly as the water is swirling, and then you pull them out with like a strainer, and they are very tender and very soft. Cooked in water, and they're actually pretty good. They're weirdly good. They sound gross, but they're
they do.
Yeah, they're really delicious actually.
All right. There we've covered eggs.
There you go.
All right. And another food question for you: what's the weird food combination you love but everybody else finds gross?
Oh, I've got a few of those. I like. You ever put pickles on pizza, Scott?
No.
Yeah. I do love pickles on my. I'll occasionally put some pickles on my pizza. I think a weird food combination that everybody weirdly loves is a Wendy's Wendy's fries and the chocolate shake, the Frosty. Yeah, I don't think that's weird because everybody loves it, but it only works there. It doesn't work in any other places. I was telling someone about that recently. They'd never heard of it, so they went to a different fast food place and got French fries and a chocolate shake. And they came back to me and they said, "Chuck, that was disgusting. Why would you tell me to do that?"
No, you have to have Wendy's fries because there's something about them not very good by themselves, but they're excellent in the shake.
Yeah, they really are.
Oh, I hope I don't get sued for that. All right, it's the truth.
Do you have a weird one, Scott?
Yeah, sardines and Cheetos.
That is crazy.
Now you'll be equally thrilled to know I made that up.
Oh, good. I do think sardines, they get a bad rap. They do. They get a bad rap. They're not as bad as everyone thinks they are. I don't know if I'd want them on my pizza per se, but
disgusting.
But especially, you ever had a good, I can't remember the name of the pasta sauce, but there's an Italian red sauce that's made with anchovies in the sauce, and it's more of a seasoning than it doesn't taste fishy at all. It just creates that sort of salty sort of.
I don't believe you. You can't put anchovies or sardines in anything without it tasting fish. The only kind of fish that I like are fish that don't taste like fish. Oh. If it smells fishy, I gotta have whitefish or something that's more like meat. I can't do the stinky fish. No.
Do you ever do
salmon? Run the other way.
Oh, I love salmon. Do you ever do poor man's lobster?
Run the other way. Huh?
Do you ever do poor man's lobster?
No.
Where you take a whitefish like a halibut or a cod or something, and you gently poach it in sugar water, and then you can take it out, and it gets this really sort of soft, yummy, great texture, and it tastes just like lobster. And you can dip it in butter, and it is delicious. Yeah.
So sugar and what did you say?
It's just sugar and water, like a ton of sugar. And you really gently boil your fish. Or you don't boil it, but you kind of poach it in the water just below boiling. And comes out the texture and the flavor of lobster. It's amazing.
Poor man's lobster, huh?
Poor man's lobster, yep.
Well, I'm a poor man, and I love lobster.
You're mocking me, aren't you?
Yes.
Of course, outside of Alaska, halibut's going to cost you about the same price anyway. So there's that.
All right, Chuck gets to roll out this morning's first quick joke.
Yeah. So is this? I don't have it open, Scott. I'm sorry. You caught me off guard.
Gets to roll out. Hold on.
There you go.
Oh no! We're stuck again.
I have it now, though.
You can do it.
Okay.
Okay. Why don't men cook at home?
I don't know. Why don't men cook at home?
Because no one's invented a steak that'll fit in the toaster.
All right, we're going to go back on these. I thought it was cute this morning when I saw it. Add Gary and ruin a movie. All right, first one, Black Panther, Gary forever.
Oh, Gary.
Gary's like a Karen?
Maybe. I don't know.
All right.
I think it's a great name.
Gary. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Next one's you.
Okay, Gary, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
What's funny is Gary, Indiana, actually a town.
That's
and
awesome.
The big deal about Gary, Indiana, I think I've said this on the radio before. I hate driving through it, going coast to coast, or when I lived in Wisconsin. Gary, Indiana takes care of all the sewage from Chicago. Even you're driving by on the freeway and it's tank after tank with flames coming up out of them. It's weird.
What a thing to be known for.
Yeah. All right. More about Gary. How about add Gary ruin a movie? When Harry Met Gary.
Oh.
Aw.
That has a nice ring to it.
It does.
Where the Garys sing.
La. Bill and Ted and Gary's Excellent Adventure. Ooh, new movie.
I like it. Gary Poppins.
Oh, wow. Mad Gary, Fury Road.
I like it. And this one, of course, true. All Garys go to heaven.
And last but not least, Everything Gary, All at Once. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. All right. This is kind of a fun one. Chuck, you want to take this? It's how much we would pay to be better at just about everything.
Yeah. So the average American would pay $5,695.92 to play an instrument, $6,768.57 to be less anxious, according to this new research poll. The study of 2,000 Americans found that people are willing to shell out the big bucks when it comes to being gifted at basic skills. In fact, the average respondent be willing to part ways with $5,226 just to be a culinary genius. Some of these actually sound really cheap. Like, imagine if it was the Matrix and you could purchase a chip that you could just download into your brain, and these were the prices. Yeah, right? Some of these are pretty inexpensive. Be less anxious, as we said, $6,786.57. I mean, a lot of people spend a lot more than that already on the therapy and everything for anxiety. So, I mean,
yeah, if you could just buy it outright, that'd be a much better deal.
That'd be great. Public speaking, $6,222.22. You can make a good living as a public speaker.
You could.
Yep.
You could.
$6,126 to be patient.
I'm not waiting for that.
I'm just handing my money under the table really quick to slip something like that in my wife's drink. Be athletic, $5,922.25. Again, in exchange, in lieu of a couple years worth of gym membership payments, you could just do it without having to do the work. I like it. Play an instrument, $5,695. Speak a foreign language, $5,694.20. To drive a car, $5,671. That's a lot cheaper to just learn how to drive a car.
I think it's kind of free if you wait until
Yeah.
you're 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird. To be a good listener, $5,633.18.
I'll buy that for $1.
The next one here is eat healthy, $5,581. What if you could flip that around and make the foods that you do eat healthy?
That'd be better.
Yeah.
Some healthy Doritos, please.
Exactly.
Taste exactly the same.
People pay $5,437 to be able to stick to a workout routine.
All right.
$5,336 to do their schoolwork, and as we said before, $5,226 to be able to cook. Again, I guess that's a lot cheaper than culinary school, right?
Mm-hmm.
And here's some superpowers for healing or
This gets goofy.
Yeah, for healing or regeneration, people would pay $142,000 to be able to heal or regenerate. Okay, to be invisible, $123,072. Can you think of any reason that doesn't have bad connotations to want to be invisible?
Nope.
Yeah. That's I suppose you could do good with that, but the options to do bad with being invisible, a lot worse.
Yeah. I think if that's your choice, if you could choose any superpower to be that, you're putting out some creepiness, definitely.
And that's the second highest one.
Yeah, I know.
Right? I would like this one, the ability to manipulate time. $128,000.
I'd pay more for that because you could really get rich manipulating time.
Yeah, you could. Imagine how, I just think of how productive you could be. If you could just freeze time and get all your stuff done, then people be like, wow, you work really fast.
You're good at math, aren't you?
Right? Instead of what I get right now, Chuck, what have you been doing this whole time? Standing there, sitting on the bed, staring at the wall for the last 3 hours. Teleportation. This would be a cool one. $122,966.
I would take that one so I could come home whenever I wanted.
Yeah. Save a lot on airfare.
Yeah, but Chuck would probably abuse it.
Right.
Hey, why don't you come take care of this?
Yeah.
you got teleportation.
Yeah. Reading minds, $118,591.70. Okay. Again, that could go either way, but I'm leaning towards the villain side of that one.
Yeah, totally.
Yep. Flying, $108,669.
Well, since the invention of Facebook, we don't really have to read minds because people are just spewing it out there.
They do. Yeah, they don't hold back much. Super strength, 105, 700, 6,000. I could do that. That'd be cool. Moving things around with your mind, 98,354. And then X-ray vision, $92,000, $92,339.
Just right up there with invisibility and reading minds.
Right.
Keep the creep factor.
Or, be able to see combinations to safes and stuff, which could be fun.
All right. Let's see. We've got just a few days away.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yes.
Irish holiday.
Yes, that is tomorrow.
St. Patrick's Day?
That is tomorrow. Do you believe it?
It's tomorrow already. Oh,
Yeah.
man. Green Beer Day.
Right.
All right. Signs, the leprechaun you caught isn't a real leprechaun. All right. Catching me does not count. Do not have a pot of gold.
I used to know a guy. He wasn't technically a dwarf or anything, but he was. I don't think he even broke quite 5 feet tall. Very thin, kind of very small guy. Every year that guy would clean up at costume contests. Every Halloween, he would dress as a leprechaun and win everything. Because dude looked like a leprechaun. He had like the facial features and this like sort of square, like angular long jaw. And man, dude looked just like a leprechaun. It was incredible.
And what did you say? He wasn't a what?
A little person. I don't know what.
That's not what you said the first time.
No, was that the wrong? Did I use the wrong term?
I think so.
I don't know what the right term is. I'm sorry.
I have a hard time being. I think it's a little person.
Okay.
I have a hard time being politically correct.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know I'm king of the little people.
You're like Santa Claus.
No, how dare you? No, how dare you? How dare you? No, how dare you? You dare to damn me? How dare you? How dare me when I how dare you? You big peepee head.
Signs the leprechaun you caught isn't a real leprechaun. He's got the green suit. He's got the Irish accent, but he's tall enough to play in the NBA.
Oh, you caught me. Yep.
He prefers Fruit Loops over Lucky Charms.
Wow.
All right. Can you say that in Irish voice? He's always after me Lucky Charms.
He's always after me Lucky Charms.
That's good.
There you go. Thanks.
His pot of gold turns out to be medical marijuana from Oregon.
Acapulco gold?
Yeah.
That counts, right?
Yeah. He admits he's occasionally placed bets against Notre Dame.
I am offended, sir.
You can't be one of the little people when you weigh over 300 pounds.
Well, it depends on how wide you are, I guess.
300-pound leprechaun. Wow. That's my new goal.
I think that's the wrong way, Scott.
All right. We'll go back and forth on these. It's odd facts about St. Patrick's Day, Chuck.
Yeah, so blue was the original color to be associated with St. Patrick. For centuries, both St. Patrick and Ireland were closely associated with the color blue, not green like everyone assumes. Eventually, green did take over, but not everyone's sure why. It's possible that it was because people started wearing green shamrocks in their hair and on their clothes during the 19th century. But the most striking historical example of green's rise to power took place during the 1798 Irish Rebellion, when local soldiers dressed all in green on St. Patrick's Day in order to draw attention to their cause.
Okay. All right. Scary.
I mean, that's okay. That's a pretty legitimate green story. Yeah.
Yes. All right. St. Patrick taught the Irish about Christianity using a shamrock. The reason the shamrock's so important to both Ireland and the St. Patrick story is because the legend has it that St. Patrick explained the Holy Trinity to the native Celts using the 3-leafed shamrock.
How does that explain the 4-leaf clover? It's good luck.
I don't know, but don't kiss that Blarney Stone. Ugh.
Right? How many people have kissed that thing today? St. Patrick's Day is an official public holiday in only 3 countries. Ireland, obviously, one of them. The other 2 are a little more obscure. Canadian province of Newfoundland and Labrador is one. And the Caribbean island of Montserrat. Did I pronounce that right? I don't know.
I think you're pretty close.
Yeah, go Montserrat. Also celebrates St. Patrick's Day as an official public holiday, which might seem completely bizarre until you realize the island nation was founded by Irish settlers.
All right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't know why they deserved applause, but my finger fired it off anyways. Right. Everyone knows about the big-time St. Patrick's Day parades in Chicago. They even dye the river green, and Dublin has an entire festival which lasts a week and draws over 1 million people. Most people don't know that the smallest St. Patrick's Day parade is in a little town called Dripsey. Dripsey is in southern Ireland. It lasts just 23 meters and takes place in between the town's two pubs, or at least it used to. Unfortunately, one of the pubs closed in 2007.
Oh.
Oh.
I wonder if they still hold the parade.
Sounds like it.
Was it a parade or was it just a bunch of drunk Irish people walking to the next bar?
Walking. I think that's called a pub crawl here in America.
And someone decided to call it a parade.
Yes.
Guinness cashes in a lot. Guinness and St. Patrick's Day go hand in hand. It's basically the official beer of St. Patrick's Day. It's estimated that more than 13 million pints of Guinness will be consumed on St. Patty's Day.
Wow.
I like to cook my corned beef in Guinness.
Really?
Yeah, I like to braise it in a foil pack with just a little bit of Guinness in there. You don't want to boil it, too hard. But boiling, like the traditional method of boiling the corned beef in a pot of water, it just sucks all the flavor out of it.
Okay.
I think my opinion. But
You're kind of chefy.
yeah, I cook. I like to cook. But yeah. But yeah, like when you braise it slowly, you get a better texture, and then you can when you get that beer on there, and it sort of, I guess it creates almost like a glaze, like a crust. Sorry, my phone is ringing. It just creates this really nice glaze, and it gets this sweetness and this sort of unctuousness, and then the alcohol, especially in there braising it, really makes the meat nice and tender. Yeah,
right. There you go.
There you go,
Chef Chuck.
We should do a cooking show.
Chef Chuck.
Can you do a cooking show on the radio? Would that work?
It'd be kind of tough, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, well, we figure it out.
You have to be really descriptive. All right, before we go to break, I got to do it to Chuck.
Okay.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Immediately. All right, Chuck, you ready for some trivia?
I am ready. I'm ready. Ready.
Any predictions on how you might do?
Mediocre.
Okay.
Fair to middling.
All right. First one's a trivia question.
Mm-hmm.
The average person will lose 22 of these in their life.
Well, it's not pounds.
Nope. Average person loses 22 of these in their life. It's an accessory that both men and women like to wear.
Oh, my first thought was sock. But I think I've lost more than that this year alone.
I think so.
An accessory, is it? It's an accessory that we both like to wear. Is it some kind of jewelry?
Kinda, but not really.
Kinda, but not really. Is it?
It also protects you.
Is it an umbrella?
No.
Is it glasses?
Glasses, I'll take that.
Okay.
Looking for sunglasses.
Sunglasses.
Person loses 22 pairs of sunglasses. All right. I have to make a wager that you will not be able to do the next one. Okay. And I'll even let you say a pass, because to me it seems like nearly impossible. Do you keep up with the Olympics when they start?
Not. Some years not. It depends.
Okay, we'll see how you do then.
Okay.
Sort these cities by the year they hosted the Summer Olympic Games. From oldest to newest.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to give you 4 cities.
Okay.
London, Rio de Janeiro,
okay,
Tokyo, and Beijing. What do you think the correct order is?
I'm going to go from newest to oldest is London, Beijing, Rio de Janeiro, and then Tokyo.
You were so close. You just had Beijing and London wrong. Beijing,
okay.
London, Rio de Janeiro, Tokyo.
Okay.
Really?
Okay. I thought London
right.
was after Beijing, but maybe I got that wrong, obviously.
Or the person who wrote the trivia could have done it wrong.
There you go.
You want me to just pretend you got it right?
Yeah. That's what I do to get through life. I just pretend I'm right most of the time.
All right. One of these has 7.5 miles of information on it.
7.5 miles of information.
Yes.
How is it an electronic device?
Something that's used in electronic devices.
Is it a cassette tape?
It is not a cassette tape. I don't think a cassette tape would stretch, even though, when I was young, I had to wind a couple of them.
Right.
When the decade, but I don't think they go 7.
No, yeah, that would be a lot. That would be a lot. Oh.
You're on the right track, though.
Is it like some sort of computer server thing real?
Nope.
No. Is it a film of some sort?
It is not a tape of any kind.
Okay. Is it?
But you're on the right track.
Is it made out of wire?
No, sir.
No, sir. I'm just trying to think of information that could.
Something that could have 7.5 miles of information on it, and it's not a tape.
Is it something that you would be able to physically stretch out, or is this a metaphorical 7.5 miles?
No. It's just if you could take all that data and stretch it out. Oh, I just blew it for you.
Is it like an average? Is it coding? Is it some sort of code?
It's a thing. It's a thing you can hold in your hand. It's got 7.5 miles of information on it.
Your cell phone, but I don't know how that would transform into mileage.
They've really lost popularity over the past few years.
Oh, I have no. I'm gonna I'm gonna give up on this one. I have no idea.
A DVD, Chuck. A DVD.
A DVD. How does that translate into mileage?
I guess if you could take all the information on it off and stretch it out, it would run for 7.5 miles. All the ones and zeros.
Okay.
All right. That's a tough one. Sorry.
I guess it can put in the font size.
This is like multiple choice.
Okay.
Who said it?
Okay.
I'm one of those people you hate because of genetics. Was it Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Jimmy Kimmel, or Brad Pitt?
I'm going to go with Jimmy Kimmel on that one.
What?
Ironically, I'm guessing, but no, I'm guessing that's wrong.
It's wrong, but I mean, okay, look at the physique of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson or Brad Pitt. Jimmy Kimmel?
I would have thought he would have said
like
it ironically, like
as
a joke. Okay, well, let's switch to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
And you'd still be wrong. It was the Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt. Okay.
Yeah, he knows he's beautiful.
He is.
All right. So, like true or false, but it's macaroni or bologna. Okay. Like true or false, but this is macaroni or bologna. You got to tell me what macaroni or bologna or mispronounced.
I thought I had to choose between macaroni or bologna, and I like to put the bologna in the macaroni.
Right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It was Thomas Jefferson who introduced Marconi to the United States in 1789.
I'm going to go with bologna.
It's true.
It's
true. Marconi, macaroni, which are both spelt the same.
Oh, wow. I was thinking like the leader of France, you know.
No.
But no.
There are Macron. That's Macron, not macaroni. Macron.
It's also a delicious cookie.
There are approximately 95 different authentic shapes of pasta.
I'm gonna go with macaroni.
Oh, you're gonna say that's true?
I'm gonna say that's true.
Oh, you should have went with the bologna. Number is more like 350 different authentic shapes of pasta. 350. You wouldn't even think that's possible.
I was wondering if that number was too low.
I'm gonna bet you're gonna get this one. Kraft says its all-time best-selling non-elbow shaped mac and cheese is SpongeBob SquarePants.
I kind of want that to be true, so I'm going to go with macaroni.
Good job.
Yeah.
The U.S. and England, it's called macaroni and cheese. In Canada, it's called Kraft dinner.
That's true. That's macaroni.
It is. How'd you know that one?
Because I've heard that before. Yeah, Kraft dinner.
There's a species of frog called macaroni.
That's baloney.
You're right, but there is a species of penguin called macaroni. And they are delicious. Was that wrong?
A little bit, but funny.
40,000 Americans this is a trivia question. 40,000 Americans will be injured while using, that came up the other day. While using what this year?
40,000 Americans will be injured by using a lawnmower?
Something in the bathroom.
Oh, something in the bathroom. A razor?
Bigger.
A hairdryer?
Bigger.
The toilet?
The toilet.
Okay.
Most dangerous thing in the bathroom. The toilet.
Is it really?
Only for drunk people.
I know they call the space between the toilet and the tub, that void in there, the triangle of death. Yeah.
I remember in college a friend calling people from the bathroom, and we went to see what the problem was. Somehow he had got his foot lodged inside the toilet and could not get it out.
Wow. Did they have to break the toilet to get his foot out?
No, we were able to help him.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't as hard as he thought it was. Average American consumes 11 pounds of this each year. It's bad.
Corned beef.
No.
No. 11 pounds of saturated fat. Sugar.
You know, you're kind of on the right path. It's something very, very tiny.
Microplastics.
And it's not microplastics. Not quite that bad.
11. Is it something you eat intentionally?
No.
No. Okay. 11 pounds of metal.
You just can't get away with it because it's everywhere.
Hard water deposits?
No, looking for food additives.
Food additives. Okay.
11 pounds of food additives.
I actually would have thought that number would have been higher.
Really?
Oh yeah, you look at all the junk that's in the food we eat and how high up some of those additives are on that ingredient list.
That's true.
Yep.
That's true.
Yep.
At your favorite restaurant one night, your waitress says the specialty of the night is a chicken. When you tell her you don't like poultry, she tells you the restaurant has no poultry on the menu, but they do have a chicken. What's she talking about?
They do have a chicken. Is it chicken of the sea?
You're really close. What kind of sea creature is it?
Tuna?
No.
No.
The female one of these, and it's seafood.
Is it a lobster? Is a female lobster called a chicken?
Female lobster is called a chicken.
Oh. See, we learned something new today, Scott.
And we're going to wrap up trivia right here because we're running really long. In honor of St. Patrick's Day tomorrow, name the Patrick. All right?
Okay.
All right. He starred as captain of the USS
Patrick
Enterprise.
Stewart.
Yes, the best Patrick ever, Patrick Stewart.
The greatest Patrick of all time.
Right. You might not have been old enough for this one. We'll see. He played Bobby Ewing on Dallas.
Is that J.R. Patrick? No.
No.
No. I do know this one.
He also played in a television show, The Man from Atlantis, who had webbed fingers.
Mm-hmm. He's drawing a blank. I know his name.
Patrick Duffy.
Yes.
Patrick Duffy.
Yep, that was it.
Got to do this. Sorry. McDreamy on Grey's Anatomy.
Oh gosh, that's See, I'm drawing a blank. I know he played in Can't Buy Me Love. He was in all the 80s movies. Again, I'm not remembering his name. Patrick. It's Mick something. Patrick Mick.
Nope.
Nope.
You're way off, son. You're way off this time.
I say you're way off.
Patrick Dempsey.
Patrick Dempsey. That's what it is. Still an Irish name. I was thinking of an Irish name.
Right. Former race car driver and GoDaddy spokeswoman.
Danica Patrick.
All right. And let's see. You watch Family Guy, right?
No, I don't. Not really. I've seen it, but.
Oh. Well, that was going to be my tease for this one because I don't want to do the one they say. If I say the name of the movie, you'll know exactly who it was. He was famous for kicking.
Famous for kicking.
Yeah. And he's a movie star.
Jean-Claude Van Patrick?
No, he was kind of, let's see what other things he might have been famous for. All right. Famous for dancing. Famous for kicking.
That's not even drawn.
Probably two of his biggest movies were a dancing movie and a movie where he kicked a lot.
Oh, yeah. Roadhouse and Patrick Swayze.
There you go. You finally got a Patrick. And SpongeBob's friend?
Patrick Star.
There you go. Yeah. All right. That one wasn't on the list. I just wanted to throw it in there. We're running late, Chuck, so double check that those spots are thank you announcements get to play. And when we come back, we're going to have local birthdays, celebrity birthdays, history, and we wrap up the show with odd news. But you got to stay right here on Northern Lights Public Radio. We are KCHW 102.7.
I'll buy that for $1.
Thank you so much for being my friend. You can do it!
Put that cookie down now!
It's 8:27.
Your KCHW morning show, made possible by a donation from God-Fearing Brothers Auto Center. God-Fearing Brothers specializes in auto services, including repair, maintenance, and detailing. They also stock a full selection of tires, make glass repairs, offer towing, and have an auto sales lot on the corner of Highway 395 and Main Street at the light. For more information, you can visit the Auto Service Center at 806 East Main in Chewelah. Find them online at godfearingbrothers.com or by phone at 509-935-6414. KCHW-FM thanks God-Fearing Brothers for supporting public radio in Stevens County.
And by Chewelah Flooring.
Chewelah Flooring at 214 East Clay in the 3rd Street Mall offers a wide variety of products including carpet, ceramic and porcelain tile, vinyl and laminate planks, and vinyl sheet flooring. Chewelah Flooring carries products for both commercial businesses and residential homes, including brands like National Flooring, Del Tile, Mannington, and Mohawk. They also offer blind repair. For more information, you can visit online at CheWelahFlooring.com, call 509-935-8021, or via email at CheWelahFlooring@gmail.com.
This is KCHW 102.7.
From Feature Story News in the UK, I'm John Beaver. Gunmen who kidnapped around 300 schoolchildren in Nigeria's Kaduna state last week are demanding $620,000 for their release. Tessa Makende reports.
The gunmen, locally called bandits, made the request through a phone call to parents of the children. They have also given them a 20-day ultimatum to make the payment, failure of which the students will be killed. Last week's kidnapping incident is just one out of several in the country by gunmen who have made the act an enterprise. On Monday, about 60 other people were kidnapped in the state. Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu has ordered security agencies in the country to secure the release of all hostages. He also says no dime will be paid to the gunmen, in line with the country's policy of not paying ransom to kidnappers.
Denmark has announced it will extend military conscription to include women for the first time. The announcement comes as Europe grows increasingly concerned about Russia's military manoeuvring along NATO's borders. Trent Murray reports.
The Danish government says the decision to extend conscription to women is part of a plan to expand defence programs to meet NATO targets, with funding also increased by an extra $6 billion over the next 5 years. The standard service time for all troops will also be extended from 4 to 11 months. The country's Prime Minister said, quote, "We do not rearm because we want war, we are rearming because we want to avoid it," end quote. Denmark is now the third European nation to include women in its draft, following its neighbours Norway and Sweden.
China's top diplomat, Foreign Minister Wang Yi, will visit Australia next week in a sign of a further thaw in relations after years of tension. It comes as China is reportedly considering removing tariffs on Australian wine, raising hopes that nearly 3 years of stiff duties will end. Dutch politician Geert Wilders says he will not become the Netherlands' next Prime Minister. His party won the most seats in the national elections last year, although it did not secure a majority, as Ishan Gerg reports.
In a social media post, Geert Wilders says he will not become the Netherlands' next prime minister because his coalition partners do not support him. Reports say Wilders' openly anti-Islamic views, such as proposing a ban on mosques and headscarves, proved too radical for his potential political partners. Wilders' party emerged as the single largest bloc in the 2023 elections, dubbed one of the most polarized in the history of the European nation. Now the country may be heading for a patchwork coalition government with none of the biggest party leaders reportedly taking up top jobs. Wilders says he is still hopeful about becoming Netherlands' Prime Minister one day, but only when the Dutch voters give his party a majority.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. 4 astronauts who have spent the past 6 months aboard the International Space Station are now back on Earth and getting used to gravity all over again. The American, Dane, Japanese and Russian crew members splashed down in the Gulf of Mexico near the Florida Panhandle on Tuesday. What have they been up to for the last half a year? Space expert Dr. David Whitehouse.
Two things to maintaining the space station, because there's a lot of work on it to keep it functioning. But most of their work is into the adaptation of the human body into zero gravity. Not only is that important if you're an astronaut and you want to work and live efficiently and you don't want to get ill and you want to stay in good condition, but when you switch off gravity, and you notice the way the body reacts and behaves, your nervous system, your vestibular system, your endocrine system, all the things that work down on the ground, they work slightly differently. And the way they adapt has clues, particularly to certain problems we have on the ground when these systems don't work properly. There are clues and ideas you get from observing people adapting to zero gravity, as well as specific experiments they do. The adaptation is very medically interesting, and they've been doing a lot of that.
And that work continues aboard the space station. A new crew was ferried there in a SpaceX capsule last week. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, gunmen who kidnapped around 300 schoolchildren in Nigeria's Kaduna state last week are demanding $620,000 for their release. With growing fears of Russian manoeuvring on NATO's borders, Denmark has announced it will extend military conscription to include women for the first time. And despite winning the most general election seats, far-right Dutch politician Geert Wilders says he doesn't have enough political support to become the Netherlands' next Prime Minister. That's the latest feature story news. John Beaver reporting.
KCHW 102.7 FM, the music education station, is pleased to announce its first fully produced syndicated radio program that's available to public radio stations worldwide. It's called Swinging with Dr. Jazz, and you can hear it locally at 6 p.m. every Sunday night, right here on Northern Lights Public Radio. Each episode features 6 swing-era bands from the 30s and 40s. Swinging with Dr. Jazz, Sundays at 6 on KCHW 102.7 and online at northernlightspublicradio.com.
Do you have a sound effect for us? Nothing? Welcome back to part 2 of the KCHW Morning Show. So I would like to just take a second here, listening to the Dr. Jazz promo there. We have Dr. Jazz and a very, very special guest coming on the show next Wednesday. Dr. Jazz, our very own Dr. Jazz, is going to be joining us for the morning show along with Sharon Ludwig. And we have a young lady she's my age, so I guess I'll still call her young.
Young lady to me.
Yeah, right? Her name is Hillary Gardner. She's going to be joining us on the show next Wednesday. She is a jazz singer based in New York. She has performed on Broadway. She has done shows all around the world. She has sung multiple times with Jeff Goldblum's jazz band. And the Times out of the UK just named her new jazz album of the year. So we are very, very, very fortunate to, and she just happens to be one of my high school theater friends. So I saw.
Well, that'd be fun. She can tell stories about you.
Yeah, right. So I saw the announcement on her Facebook page, and I was like, "Holy cow, that is one of the coolest!" I've been following her career forever. Following her singing, doing a duet with artificially reproduced Frank Sinatra on Broadway, and watching her sing and perform with Jeff Goldblum, who I'm a huge fan of, and thinking, man, I'm gonna message her and see if she would be willing to come on the show. And sure enough, she said yes. So
how fun!
Very, very fortunate. And I'm gonna bring Dr. Jazz on, and we're gonna have a jazz morning show, and all that jazz. And you know what, Scott? You know how I feel about it? I'm pretty jazzed about it.
You should have her send you a couple of her songs in advance so that you can play them on the radio for folks too.
Yeah, I will. I do. They already did. This is really neat. I've never had this before from a morning show guest. We got her agent sent over the whole press packet and all the information and talking points and questions, and it's kind of like they did my job for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Real.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It is cool.
Love having musicians on the radio. That's cool. One thing we've never tried, which would be fun too, is not saying that you have to do this with that, is getting, I know people perform over Zoom and getting her to maybe do something live over Zoom. That'd be really cool.
Maybe. Ooh, that would be cool.
Maybe. Just planting seeds. All right. Before we go to the next break, it's spring here in Maine. I was out in the backyard yesterday. Bugs were already flying around. And I noticed the county has put up our spring mosquito warning signs. And if you're watching online, you can see that right now. It's a picture of a giant mosquito carrying a person away.
That's right.
You probably saw those up in Alaska, right?
Yeah. Well, we always said the mosquito is the Alaska state bird.
And I don't know if people caught the news story a couple of days ago that came out, is this spring, 16 states around the country are going to be inundated with cicada bugs. Ooh. So there's two different cicadas come out, different breeds of cicada bugs come out at different years. They stay underground for a very long time.
Isn't it a 17-year cycle?
Say that again?
I think it's a 17-year cycle, right?
The one of the ones that's coming out is on a 17-year cycle, and the other one is on a 13-year cycle. And they happen to be coming up at the same time. They say it'll be the most cicada bugs the country's seen or will see in 221 years.
Wow.
And 16 states, they said, are going to be inundated with them, swarmed with them. And after their 6 weeks of mating, when they die, the smell is going to be horrendous. So, getting some recordings of that, I think, would be pretty cool.
That could be really disastrous. That could be a bad thing.
It could be.
Definitely. I know living in the South that you could tell the temperature, you could tell the weather outside by how loud the cicadas were. The hotter the weather, the louder the cicadas.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, moving along this morning, local birthdays. Chuck Ritchie's going to get those off the Lions Club calendar. Do we have any for this March the 14th?
There are no birthdays on here. We have one. What's that?
Go ahead.
Oh, we have one anniversary, and this is actually a very, very special one for us here at the radio station. It is Lynn and Deborah Husby's anniversary today.
Oh,
yeah.
Send them a text.
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
So happy anniversary, you two. For anyone
they'll probably be out for lunch somewhere. So if you see Lynn and Debbie out at lunch at an area restaurant, just walk up to their table and point and laugh. And then when they look at you funny, say, they told us to do it on the radio. It would go over really well. So if you see Lynn and Debbie today.
Yeah. Yeah. And for anybody that doesn't know, they're huge supporters of the radio station. And I think it's pretty fair to say the radio station wouldn't be here if it wasn't for for those two.
The lady, we would not have found a home for Northern Lights Public Radio if it wasn't for Lynn Husby. He was on our board of directors for years, but when he retired, he wanted to retire from everything. And of course, he still owns the building we're in, but it was really funny. I was this is back in like 2010, 2011. I'm walking down the sidewalk, and he's on the other side of the street. And I think I was headed toward the post office, and he yells across, "Did you find a home for that radio station yet?" And I said, "No." And he goes, "Well, you better come talk to me." And he had a place for us, but it wasn't going to be ready for 3 months. So when we started the radio station, we actually started it. He has remodeled now, the building. But at that time, it was the room where they stored all the carpet, and it had a long counter on the back. And that's where we broadcast from. We put a fake picture up that looked like we could see outside. And I think we spent 3 months broadcasting in there with the rolls of carpet. But yeah, until
that
he
is
had
fantastic.
And then he had a studio all ready for us. And that if you'd seen the first studio which is on the side of North 3rd Street, Chuck was in that. Your creator's
Makerspace,
spot.
Yeah.
It was in there for a while, but it had a great window looking out at the street. You could drive by and see the DJs and stuff, but he totally remodeled that room and built the studio.
Yep.
Then years later, other people in the building were complaining about the music. And he said, "You're going to have to move." And he moved us to the back of the building, which originally I frowned at because of the wiring and having to move everything. And but we went from, I think, maybe 350 square feet to like over 2,000 square feet. And that's, of course, where we are today. The amazing thing is he built me and you a second studio, twice as big as the first one. And of course, he owned a carpet store, so he carpeted the entire thing, the walls and everything. And the amazing thing about it, I've been in a lot of radio studios. I have had a lot of people perform live. We have one of the best radio booths for a live performance. Everybody that's performed and then heard themselves afterwards has commented how good they sound live. In fact, we were talking with a gentleman, if you remember his name, Kevin Doran from Idaho, and he played one of our first concerts. We might be able to get him back. We were talking about doing some stuff with him. But after he performed on the morning show, he came back and said it was the best live capture anyone had ever got of him performing live, and could he put the recording on his next album. So very cool. And there you go. Big thank you. And we should say this too. Every time Lynn was building something for the radio station, Debbie was there helping. So thank them both. And if it wasn't for people like that and our sponsors and our members and our listeners, there wouldn't be a public radio station in Stevens County. So,
well, Scott, and I thought you had seen this. Kevin Doran, he is actually going to be performing here both on the morning show and in the evening in the theater on June 14th. Yeah.
So now Kevin is an amazing blues artist. He's a younger guy. He might be in his mid-30s now, but he has the freshest take I think I've ever heard on blues music. And he's got that classic, like, turn-of-the-century warble that artists used to put into their voice.
That falsetto.
He does it. Yeah, he does it so well. That's going to be a concert. More details to come. It's going to be following Chihuahua's Got Talent, which is May 4th.
Yep.
And it's good. It's going to be in our studio, Chuck. Yes.
Yes, it is. He's going to be on the morning show Friday, June 14th, and performing in the theater the evening of Friday, June 14th.
This is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
You don't want to miss that, folks.
Yeah.
All right. Good job, Chuck. All right, celebrity birthdays. We'll keep moving here. Michael Caine, 91. Composer, conductor Quincy Jones, 91. Billy Crystal, 76. Grace Park from Hawaii 5-0 and A Million Little Things, 50. Corey Stroll from House of Cards and The Many Saints of Newark is 48. Chris Klein from the American Pie films and the network series Sweet Magnolias, 45. Ansel Elgort from Divergent and Baby Driver is 30. Baby Driver?
What is that? I've heard of it. What isn't that a Mario Kart?
I understand letting your kids drive, but a baby, come on. Sammy Ganciola from Jersey Shore, 37, NBA star Stephen Curry, 36, and gymnast Simone Biles turning 27. Here comes history. Chuck Ritchie.
Mm-hmm. In 1964, a jury in Dallas found Jack Ruby guilty of killing Lee Harvey Oswald, the assassin of John F. Kennedy. I'll get that out sooner or later. In 1964, a Billboard magazine reported that the Beatles recordings were claiming 60% of single sales in the U.S.
Wow.
That's one thing with music. You don't get these great big bands that just consume everything. Well, I guess we have Taylor Swift. That's pretty close.
Yes, you do. Yeah. I'm sure by the time she's all done, she'll have set some world records if she hasn't already.
I stand corrected.
There you go.
In 1990, church officials in Belgium discovered that 8 nuns had sold their convent in Bruges for 1.4 million, moved to France, and bought a castle.
That's amazing.
Why do I love that story so much? 1997, surgeons at Bethesda Naval Medical Center repaired a torn tendon in President Clinton's right knee caused by a freak stumble at the Florida home of golfer Greg Norman. Okay. 2005, thieves broke into a storage hall in Steinfurt, Germany, and stole 200 fully loaded gumball machines. At least they have their priorities straight.
Not going to find those guys. Nope.
2014, in India, a bride walked out of her wedding after the groom failed to solve a simple math problem. The woman's relatives put the groom to the test after becoming concerned about his level of education.
I'm so lucky none of my 3 wives made me do a math test.
Right. Be screwed. 2020 French airline Air Tahiti Nui flew the longest ever scheduled passenger flight by distance, 9,765 miles across the world from Papeete in Tahiti, French Polynesia, to Paris's Charles de Gaulle Airport. The one-time milestone was a direct consequence of pandemic-induced U.S. travel restrictions.
Longest flight ever. Wow.
I'd be worried about running out of gas.
Me too.
Yeah. Then in 2022, 3 days before the official start of the 2022 season and just 1 month after announcing his retirement, Tom Brady revealed on social media that he was indeed coming back. And wasn't that didn't he win the Super Bowl that year and then decided to come back? And I don't think they did that great.
Isn't he the same guy that deflated the football too?
Yeah, that was Tom Brady. Yeah, Deflate Gate. Yep.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
Doesn't that like bring into question then, kind of like Lance Armstrong? Everything you've done was a cheat,
right? I don't know. Is a slightly deflated football as big of a cheat as using performance-enhancing drugs to win all kinds of sporting events?
No, I would say it's not.
But still, it's against regulation. But I don't know.
Yeah. Not quite as bad as lying about an election.
Right?
Okay, just saying. Special events for today. Celebrate Scientist Day.
Mm-hmm.
Scientists are much maligned currently, I think. But if it wasn't for scientists, where would we be?
I gotta question the hate being thrown at scientists. Like, scientists get into the field to change things and make the things better. I'm sure there's always an exception to the rule, but for the most part, they're people that go into things with good intentions, wanting to follow scientific methods and just make the world a better place.
I'm totally with that, Chuck. Yep. I was defending them during, or one of the favorite things to say was COVID, when people would start arguing about masks or claiming they knew something about diseases and how they traveled. I would say, I just look at them and ask them, "Are you a scientist?"
Right.
Me neither. So I don't really know because I'm not a scientist.
Right.
I mean, I can read and make probably some kind of slightly educated guess, but maybe since I can't do math, no. But that was what I would ask them. I say, "Are you a scientist?" Well, then maybe just shut up because you don't know.
I mean,
I had somebody try to defend that point and say, "But my doctor and his nurse have studied this thoroughly, and they say this," and it was total conspiracy theory.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "So your doctor and the nurse have a total scientific library at their clinic?" Or laboratory, excuse me. So if they don't have a laboratory at their clinic, they are not. They're a doctor and a nurse, not a scientist. They really don't know either, unless they've done a long field of study with viruses.
Well, and there are always outliers. Like I said, there's always people that either don't follow the scientific method or come up with their own conclusions without any reason. And when you have, 99% of the scientific community agreeing on one thing, and then a very small number of outliers saying, "No, I don't believe that," I'm going to go with the majority of those people who go into the field with good intentions to help make the world a better place.
I don't think there was a scientist out there trying to hurt people.
No,
nobody wanted that.
No.
So, yeah, we are. We're just. We're definitely not number one. Special events today. Celebrate Scientist Day, as I said. International Ask a Question Day, and we post several right there.
Mm-hmm.
Learn about Butterflies Day. I know one thing about butterflies, Chuck. I bet you don't know.
What's that?
They're delicious. Don't taste like butter, but you can still put them on a sandwich. All right. Legal Assistance Day, Reuben Sandwich Day. That is the most disgusting sandwich, in my opinion. Potato chip day.
If you think about all that sauerkraut on the sandwich, it kind of would have a similar texture to a bunch of the butterflies on there.
Yes,
yeah.
You might as well. All right. Potato chip day, Save a Spider Day. My daughter told me the other day, she goes, "I was saving a spider, and then I realized it was a hobo." I said, "What'd you do?" And she said, "I still let it loose." So I was pretty impressed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Let's see. We did Potato Chip Day and Write Your Story Day. All right.
What if I write your story? I'll just make a bunch of stuff up.
Oh, yeah. Okay, you write my story, and then I'll write yours.
There you go, and we'll see which one's more accurate.
All right.
I will have
number
to say,
for the day, Chuck.
I disagree with you about the Reuben sandwich, by the way. Excellent sandwich.
I knew you would.
Yeah. Has to be on marble dry, though.
I know you would. You talked about like sardines and all sorts of stuff, so I know you'll totally eat gross stuff.
I like to go a little light on the.
Sorry, I keep cutting you off.
No, that's okay. You want to send me a box of what?
Maine grubs and see if you like those.
I think that one I'll pass on. I'll pass on that. So the number of the day is 1,406. Those are book ban incidents in Florida in 2022.
Florida is one messed up place.
I saw an interesting tidbit the other day. If you look at the history of mankind, the people banning books have never been the good guys.
Never.
Not once. I'm just saying.
Yes, we're going to hold down people learning stuff.
Yeah.
All right, though I always say the internet's been around for hundreds and hundreds of years because you can say anything you want in a book.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. We're getting late on time. We got to roll this out. We got places to go and things to do, and we're hungry.
Slap some bacon on a biscuit and let's go. We're burning daylight.
It's the world of strange. A world gone wacky.
Out here, due process is a bullet.
And some of the scariest people on the planet.
I think you're bluffing. Be afraid.
You know, you look mighty pretty when you get mad.
It's your odd news on KCHW.
Just sit back and enjoy the show.
All right, we got some weird stories for you today, but we start off with the news attack where it's one headline followed by a really bad joke. And here comes Chuck Ritchie.
So scientists found that old age begins at 27 as your mental powers begin to decline. Old age? That's just a baby. Turn at 27. Congratulations on reaching the age where I slept wrong is a valid injury.
Scientists found that old age begins at 27 as mental powers start to decline. At 27, I wasn't using my mental powers much anyway.
Nope. Did you? Gosh, 27. That was a dumb age, wasn't
it? Yeah.
I think as far as the dumbest of the ages, I think 23 is right about where you've reached peak idiocy in your life. Like, sorry, 23-year-olds out there. You'll learn someday that you're not as smart as you think.
Yeah, by the time you hit 29, you're going to go, wow.
What was I thinking?
Yeah. All right, Chuck, next one's you.
Yeah, a study found that nudists are just as crude and likely to gossip about each other's bodies as people with clothes on. Nude men criticize women's weight, while nude women rate the size of men's private parts. The only thing they both agreed on, though, is that none of them like sitting in wicker chairs. Ow.
Ow.
Nothing like sitting naked in a wicker chair on a hot day.
This thing's pokey. Sharon Osbourne says her husband Ozzy was stoned on every episode of their old reality TV show. Really? We didn't notice.
What?
The least surprising plot twist since we found out water's wet.
Uncle Ozzy? No.
No. He wouldn't do that.
No. So according to study, your wounds will heal faster if they occur during the day. That's because you stand a better chance at being sober.
Which is why my hatchet throwing club meets over lunch.
There you go. Those are fun, though.
Hatchet throwing clubs?
Yeah. According to a study, too little sleep has the same effect on the brain as alcohol. Plus, it's cheaper.
UK needs a postal worker in Antarctica. Finally, someone for the penguins to complain to about their late packages.
Would you? How much would that job have to pay?
I don't know, but you're not actually delivering mail to anyone.
Right? You just kind of sit there. I think I saw a show about that once. You just kind of sit there in your office and go crazy. But, you can forget about the dogs, though. How do you feel about polar bears in your interview? Do you carry on polar bear treats?
6 months, he didn't sell a single stamp.
Carry around full salmon in your back pocket? Actually, around polar bears, that's probably not a good idea.
No.
Yeah.
Wacky but true. We don't add anything to these stories but a clip from some movies or a television show. And we start off in Japan, where a city in Japan has been put on high alert after a cat fell into a vat of hazardous chemicals at a metal plating factory. The cat, now on the run, has been described as toxic.
Wow.
And residents have been warned not to approach it. Feline left bright yellow paw prints behind, leading authorities to issue a citywide alert to the 500,000 inhabitants of Fukuyama. The cat, seen in security camera footage, appeared unharmed after the incident, but experts feared the worst as the chemicals it came in contact with are known to be very carcinogenic.
Oh, and they later found him at a university, sitting an old man in a wheelchair's lap with a bald head, surrounded by a bunch of other people in yellow outfits. Yep.
Who told you that? Hey, I'm no fraidy cat. I'll show you. I'll show them. I'm no fraidy cat. I'm weak. I'm weak. But I don't care. I can't help it. After all, I am a pussycat.
I got it beat. My willpower is indominant. The bubble.
By milking this smooth little cat body, you receive your antidote. It must be done each day.
Each cat will live about 12 years. I can't wait. And each cat has 9 lives. That's 4 times 12 and multiplied by 9 times.
That's a lot of years. A German trying to steal clothes donated to charity was caught by police after he fell into a man-sized collection bin and got trapped. Arriving in the container, the officer saw 2 arms. The left hand held a cigarette, and a voice yelled out, "Give me a light!" A passerby had alerted them after hearing strange noises coming from inside the metal bin late at night. Police refused to give the man a light, called the fire department to free him, and then let him go after charging him with attempted robbery.
Oh. It's funny, though. He didn't even ask to get out. He just wanted a light.
He was enjoying himself, apparently.
See, clothes don't make the player make the clothes.
But these are my recreation clothes.
I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
Hey, nice clothes. I didn't know the Salvation Army was having a sale.
Hey, where did you get those clothes? At the toilet store?
Get wardrobe over here right away. Take the Amigos clothes.
I think
Amigos.
I think diving into a public collection bin is where that sort of the germophobia would come in on my part.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Could you imagine?
Yeah.
I guarantee you there's bed bugs in there.
Hold on.
Well, Stinky Pete, I think it's time you learned the true meaning of playtime.
Stinky Pete. That's what we call it.
Then in Germany, 2 men ran into a post office with guns drawn. They told the clerks to step back from the counter. Then they leaned over, grabbed a brown paper bag they thought was full of cash, and ran out. But the bag had no money in it. Post office clerks had a good laugh knowing the thieves had gotten away with nothing more than the potato salad of one of the workers had brought for lunch.
I like them French fried potatoes.
You know Mate give me gas.
No. You got it all wrong, Potato Head.
Potato Head!
All right, there you go.
I have potatoes in the fridge I'm going to eat after the show.
Oh,
Yeah.
yay.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Good luck there, Potato Head.
Right.
Burglar with a cold caught after he broke into a house in the UK because he dropped his handkerchief. We were talking about this morning.
Yeah.
Handkerchiefs are disgusting.
One more reason to not carry a dirty, gross old hanky.
The burglar got away with a TV and a leather jacket, but left the hanky at the scene when he got out to blow his nose. The crook was caught by police after they examined the hanky and found traces of his DNA. Oh, man.
Wow.
Which were matched, of course, to records in the police database.
He's got a shiny nose.
Shiny? I'd even say it glow.
Blow my nose at you, so-called Arthur King. You and all your silly English kniggets.
That nose. That beautiful, wonderful nose.
Freddie No Nose.
Freddie No Nose.
Yeah.
The nose.
I'm still just grossed out of the hanky thing.
Hey, just remember your DNA's on that.
Right. And your back pocket and anything else you've touched that day and anything else those people have touched that day. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. We wrap it up with a couple stories from 1 year ago today.
Yeah. So this one, 1 year ago today, I don't know if this story happened a year ago, but it was written a year ago. An Italian man who was arrested and charged for dumping construction waste was taken back to court after he was caught violating his house arrest. The man asked to be given a jail sentence to escape his wife's nonstop nagging at home. However, the judge sent the guy back home and ordered him to try to get along with his wife.
Let's play house. You be the door and I'll shut you.
Ouch.
Wow.
All right. Cops in Japan, last story, nabbed a suspected foot feeler. One of the victims said the man approached her in a store, asked about her shoes, and then started massaging her feet. Police had received several foot massaging complaints before the man's arrest. I think this might be the same guy that was in the clothing bin.
Right.
Well, Stinky Pete, I think it's time you learned the true meaning of playtime.
Wow.
Stinky Pete, which rhymes with stinky feet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's our show for today, which was kind of a stinker.
All right, really quick before we go here, you can catch us tonight right here on KCHW. It is loading, so, oh my goodness. See, I segued into it and the computer just froze up. There we go.
That's
So you have 6 to 8 p.m. is Out of the Woods, 8 to 9 p.m. with Kelton and Twist, 9 to 11 with Acoustic Cafe. There you go. We'll be back tomorrow morning.
Don't forget, Food Bank open from 10 until 2 this afternoon, and then 2:30 to 4:30 at the this goes on somewhere else. It's at the, do you know the location of the line dancing, or should I open it?
The line dancing is at the Senior Center. From
it is at
2:30 to 4:30.
Yeah. I didn't want to say it and be wrong like I was last time. So 10 to 2, line dancing at the Senior Center, and like I said, Food Bank 10 to 2 open today. Don't forget, if you want to be involved with Chamber of Commerce, they meet at the casino at 7 a.m. on Fridays.
And just a shout out to one of our sponsors, Saturday is Sporty's 20th anniversary. They have been in Chihuahua for 20 years. So sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say they're kind of doubling up there, St. Patty's Day and then an anniversary party.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very cool. Very cool. So happy anniversary, Sporties and Jesse and all the crew over there. And thank you so much for all the sponsorship you've given us for all the years. You've been a huge asset to the radio station.
All
So
right.
we
Thank
appreciate
you, and have a great day. Keep on listening to Northern Lights Public Radio. We are KCHW 102.7.
Bye, everybody.
Oh, you! No, how dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you? How dare you? No, how dare you? You dare to dare me? How dare you? How dare me when I how dare you? You big head.
How dare you, Scott?
How dare you, Scott?
Bye, buddy.
Man, you are one pathetic loser. You're mocking me, aren't you?
This concludes the broadcast from World Control.
It's 9:06.